Let's get started with an email query that's come in. Now, Sam has written in and wants to know if a society should opt for a housing society or a condominium since it is going in for redevelopment. He also wants to know if the members can reject the condominium outright. Now, Vinay, before you answer the question, why don't you start by explaining what is the difference between the condominium and the housing society? Because this is not something a lot of people are familiar with.
Yes, actually there is a lot of confusion in people's minds. Originally, there is a lot of apartment owners acts in various states. Now, what this basically does is it takes care of a situation where because of a lesser number of members, you are not able to form a society. What you can do is you can form a condominium by registering a declaration under the act, and you could do it with the minimum of 5 members. So what then happens is that your unit, you are the owner of your unit, and you also have an undivided share in the common areas and facilities. So that would be a percentage of, say, your carpet area divided by the total carpet area of the units. So this becomes a heritable kind of an asset, which means that you can will it, you can transfer it without having to go necessarily to the co-owners. So it's a popular model. It need not be in cases where society can't be formed. I mean, you have large condominiums also with hundreds of flats. Essentially, the difference is that in the society owns the property, the society is either the lessee of the land or the owner of the land, as the case may be. But the structure definitely is owned by the society. As a society member, you hold a number of shares, either 5 or 10, like in Maharashtra, and you have the right to occupy that particular unit. In the condominium, you are the owner of the unit. You have an undivided share. So there's a direct ownership which is yours. Having said that, in the manner of functioning, etc., there is not that much difference. But societies tend to be much more regulated because, it's an omnibus kind of a law which takes care of everything from a 10-member housing society to a sugar cooperative. So that is the essential difference, but it should not impact a member in the day-to-day working. So there's not much difference there.
Not much difference, but let me get one bit right. You said that the society is the owner or the lessee of the land, which I'm assuming that the title, which is what we essentially call conveyance, is in the name of the land title, is in the name of the society, is what you say?
No, not necessarily. You see, for example, very popular model in Maharashtra and in Mumbai especially, the land could be owned by Mahada, by the collector, by SIDCO, by
no, I'm talking of a privately built structure. Who owns the land? If the builder has given possession and moved out of the premises, who owns the land if the conveyance also has been given?
So yes, so see, you have to understand one thing, that in India it is possible for the owner of the structure and the owner of the land to be different people. So this is possible. So what happens is the land could be of any nature. It could be freehold owned by the society. I mean, the builder might own it and transfer it. Or, as I said, it could belong to one of the agencies and a private building can be built on that. Now, if it is a leased land, obviously the society would become the lessee. Like, for example, SIDCO does, or BMC does, or Mahara does.
Right.
So these are leased lands, but the building is a private building constructed by a private builder.
So
what
the
he will
essential
convey,
difference here,
he will convey the structure.
So essential difference here is that I own the house that I live in if I am in a condominium. While if I am in a society, I own a share in that entire housing complex.
You own 5 shares or 10 shares now as per the new bylaws, and that entitles you to occupy the unit that you have purchased.
What are the pros and cons? So say if I go with a condominium, am I losing out on something?
Not really. As I said, you'll not lose out on anything. It is just that, it's 2 different acts. And the manner in which you transfer units probably is different. In a society, you would just make a sale deed or a conveyance deed and transfer those shares and whatever rights are attached. But in the condominium, you would have to make what is called a deed of apartment.
Okay.
And there is no other way of transferring other than that deed of apartment as per the law.
Right. And very quickly, the other thing that I've heard is that versus a society, the law is still quite, fluid as far as a condominium is concerned, because the condominium is a new concept, a far newer concept than the society, which, like you said is like an omnibus law. And what I've been told or what I've heard is also that if you were to enter into litigation, there are far more precedents that you would find under the Housing Society Act, which rather than the condominium, and in that sense, it would be more advantageous for people to go in for the housing society. Is that true?
No, that is true that there would be many more cases, but as we said that the law is entirely different there, And I don't really perceive much of an advantage. In fact, I would find that it is much more over-regulated. And given the amount of confusion, at least in Maharashtra, as far as the cooperative law is concerned, and personally, if you were to ask me, I think you'll be happier with a condominium.
You'll be happy with a condominium. So quickly, let me take you through the differences. Condominium is something that you can opt for even if you have only 5 members within the complex, whereas in a society you need much more members. In a condominium, you are the owner of the property. You also have a share in the common area and the facilities. However, if it's a housing society, you own a share in the overall complex, and you also have, which includes the structure, the facilities, amenities, etc. that is being given to you, and you also have the right to occupy the flat. Now, housing societies obviously is governed by the Society Act, like Cooperative Societies Act, like Vinay told us, while this comes under the Apartments Act, right, Vinay?
Apartment Owners Act.
Apartment Owners Act. So there are 2 different acts that you'll have to work under. The Housing Societies Act has been in force for a far longer time, so there is a lot of jurisprudence, there are a lot of precedents that have come in, a lot of court cases and orders over there. This is a far newer act. So at the end of the day, it's a decision that you need to take, whatever, is convenient for your entire for your entire housing complex is the way to go eventually.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.